Hello friends, I am Ramakant Bandekar from Devgad College. Here, let us see the study of the story, The Cope and the Anthem, written by O. Henry. In the last video, we have seen the same story with the tabulation form. And here, we have to see the details of the story and doing the activities uh, as this study is activity-based study. See, The Cope and the Anthem is a story written by William Sidney Porter, popularly known with his pen name O. Henry. People have often used the term smile with tears about his stories, and it is true in this story also. O. Henry, that is his real name, is William Sidney Porter, is a very popular American writer, and his stories are a smile with tears. The theme of his stories are very unique in itself, and the Cope and the Anthem is also a very interesting story. Let us see this story. See, again, see the introduction. The story is about freedom and confinement. Freedom, that is, he is free to do anything, and confinement, that is, he is restricted to do something. The main character is Sophie, is a vagabond person with a criminal background. He is a Tapuri type of character, and he has no home and obviously had no shelter, and therefore he makes different plans to re-enter the prison in order to spend the severe winter in the protected four walls. But as the title, that is the Cope and the Anthem, Anthem makes a positive changes in his thought process, and exactly then and there, his dream comes true. That is, his dream was to spend winter in prison, and the only, that is, he was unaware of doing the mistake that lingering in the church area without any reason. And say this is what the people used to say. His stories are the tears with smiles, or smiles with tears. See, here I have used different activities in this story, in this study, so that the students can easily understand it. So let us enter into the story. Sophie's first attempt to re-enter prison to enter the luxurious cafe. See, Sophie left his bench and stopped at a luxurious cafe. He had confidence in himself. From the lowest button of his vest upward, that he could get entry in the luxurious cafe. Actually, obviously, he had no shelter at all, and his bench was his house. That is, a bench in a garden was his house, and he wanted to consume some food, and therefore he stopped at a luxurious cafe. Actually, it was the cafe for rich persons, rich people, but he was confident in himself that he could get entry into the restaurant. But why he was so confident? The reasons for his confidence are he was cleanly shaven. Okay, his coat was trim. That is, he was very. That is, the coat was very uh, fit, and it looks graceful in his coat. And his neat black bow, actually it was presented to him by a lady missionary uh, on a Thanksgiving day. And with this material, that is, as he was cleanly shaven and his coat was trim, and his black bow, with this material, with this appearance, he was confident that he could get uh, into the luxurious cafe. But actually, uh, um, he was confident, but others were not confident about his richness. Okay, see what happens next. Uh, he thought that if only he could reach a table unsuspected, success would be his. He wanted to have tasty food from the cafe before going to Winter Island, that is prison. See, uh, he thought himself that he could get easily into the restaurant, and he had a dream uh, before himself that uh, what food items would he consume. See, what did he want to taste in this in the cafe? That is the desire of Sophie to taste. That is a roasted mallard duck, then uh, a cup of coffee, some cheese, a bottle of wine, and at last a cigar. It was his dream, his desire to consume there, because he was confident in his outfit. He was very nicely presented uh, in a person, and he was confident to enter into the cafe. But what happened? See, Sophie thought he would consume the tasty meat and happily start his journey to his winter island, that is the prison, in order to protect himself from the severe cold. But he failed in his first attempt. Why? See, Sophie set foot inside the restaurant door. The head waiter's eye fell upon his tattered trousers and decadent shoes. It was the reason. Actually, Sophie was confident up to his trousers, that is up to his waist. His coat was fine, he was cleanly shaven, his black bow was fantastic. Hmm? But what about his trousers? What about his old shoes, worn out shoes? And uh, even though Sophie thought that he would get into the uh, restaurant without any challenge, but the employees are not as dull as Sophie thinks that. See, the head waiter, the head waiters, I directly fell upon his tattered trousers, and uh, the head waiter pointed out that he was not a fit person to enter in his cafe, luxurious cafe. And the result was obvious. Strong and ready hands turned him about and conveyed him in silence and haste to sidewalk. So Sophie's Sophie's strategy was that he would consume a mala duck and cigar and some cheese and wine, and he would declare that he had no money at all, and he wanted to go to jail, call the police. But his plan got failure. His first attempt, uh, that is, he was a failure in his first attempt. See, so his second attempt to throw stone at a showroom. Now, his first attempt got failure, but Sophie was a very, what we say, he eagerly wanted to go to prison, and he made his second attempt. See, Sophie turned off Broadway and attempted secondly. At a corner of 6th Avenue, electric lights and cunningly displayed were um, behind plate glass made a show window attractive. Sophie took a stone and dashed it through the glass because he wanted to be trapped in the clutches of the cope, C-O-P, not C-O-P. It is a spelling mistake. Same. Uh, Sophie left the what luxurious cafe. He turned off Broadway, and then he turned towards 6th Avenue way, and at the corner, uh, and the electric lights and uh, the wares, glossy wares were behind the plate glasses, and the window or the showcase was very attractive. Now, in order to commit mistake, Sophie took a stone and just threw it uh, through the glass, and the glass was cracked. He wanted to be trapped in the clutches of the police. Here, it could be analyzed as here. Action: Sophie took a stone and dashed it through the glass. Reaction: people came running around uh, here and there. A policeman in lead. Sophie stood still with his hands in his pockets and smiled at the sight of the brass button, that is police. But police did not admit that Sophie would be the culprit. That is, the police had no even uh, what we say. They were not. Uh, they do not have any doubt at all on Sophie. Sophie might have done this. No, Sophie got failure to get arrested. So, um, in his second attempt, even though he directly committed offense, police did not recognize him as a culprit or as an offender, and therefore Sophie's dream was shattered in the second time. And what was his dream? That is to spend his the severe winter within the four walls of the prison. And he got failure there in his second attempt. Now see next. Sophie's third attempt to consume food at a restaurant without paying the bill. Now, Sophie was hungry. He wanted to consume something, and he saw that there was a restaurant, very simple restaurant. It is like a dhaba, and he wanted to get there. And it was his plan to consume the food there, and then he would declare to the hotel management that he had no money at all, and they may call police to arrest him. See, Sophie realized that it was not easy to get arrested, but he did not lose his courage. He did his third attempt. On the opposite side of the street was a restaurant of no great pretensions. It means that the restaurant was not stylish and without any decent furniture in it. Um, Obviously, the restaurant was for Sufi-like customers, poor customers, and therefore uh, this hotel did not pose any challenge uh, for Sufi's entry into the restaurant. See, he catered to, it catered large appetites and modern purses. It means that this restaurant was open for all, especially poor people. The rates in the restaurants were affordable to everybody, and that is who consumed there. So no resistance to Sufi was there to have entry. So without any challenge, he entered into the restaurant. Now, what did he consume there sitting on the table? See, Sophie consumed at the restaurants of no great pretension. Beef stick, flapjacks, donuts, pie. See, these are the items, and uh, these items could feed Sophie, and his appetite would be fulfilled. See, after the consumption, the above food items, Sophie declared that he had no even modest purse, or that is not single penny, and he even asked the waiter to call the police. He was eager to go to jail. He declared he himself. But what happened? His third attempt also got failure. See, why? Now see, in an analytical way. Action. At a restaurant of no great pretensions, Sophie consumed the food he desired to eat and declared that the minest, that is being, and the least in amount, coin and himself were total strangers. That is, he had no money. It means that he had no money to pay the bill, and he also asked them to get busy and call a coup. Now, a reaction of the authority, what? Instead of calling a coup, he was called a con. Con, that is a person convicted as a criminal and serving prison sentence. That is, the another guy was Sophie-like character with a criminal background, and he was like a gundas. Two waiters were the two waiters were there. They pitched, that is, threw Sophie on the very hard, that is callous pavement, and uh, when the police saw Sophie being pitched, he laughed and walked down the street. Police thought that it was just the usual, because the restaurant was for the poor people, and that is throwing such a customer from the poor restaurant was not extraordinary thing or unusual thing for the police, and therefore they neglected Sophie being that is, and they think that he's that is they sorry, they do not think that Sophie has committed something. Sophie has been against the law. Reason, the restaurant was frequented by Sophie-like people, and therefore Sophie's third attempt got a failure. Now Sophie's fourth attempt to yell drunken gibberish at top of his voice. See, now it seemed to Sophie that arrest was an elusive dream. The island seemed very far away. He was in a state of panic, but he kept trying to get arrested. Anyhow, he wanted to spend the winter under shelter of prison. When he saw another policeman longing, that is doing nothing, spending time doing nothing, grandly in front of the glittering theater, he caught at the immediate straw. He got an idea of disorderly conduct. He wanted to dance on the road. Um, he wanted, that is, at anyhow, he was eagerly wanted to get arrested by the police. He wanted to spend some days, severe winter in prison, and therefore when he saw the policeman was there, and as he was not doing anything, he was spending his time luxuriously. So Sophie thought that it's chance for him to get arrested, and therefore he wanted to dance. And that is, he danced. He just yelled the drunken like a drunkards, and he uh, raised his voice in loud way, and uh, he was disorderly in his conduct. That is, it was the only motive, the only aim of Sophie was to get arrested. But this attempt was also got failure. Now see in an analytical way. See action. Looking at the police, Sophie began to yell drunken gibberish at the top of his harsh voice. He danced, howled, raved, and otherwise disturbed the skies. Reaction. The policeman was looking at him. The policeman merely trailed his club, turned his back to Sophie. That is, he neglected him. Reason? See, we could get the reason. The police have an experience that the people like Sophie are like lads celebrating the cheapest things like the goose eggs. According to the police, such lads are noisy but no harmful to the public. They have the instructions to let them be. See, uh, Sophie could not attract his, that is the police attention, because the police were used to such things, and therefore they explain, they tell the other people that these, that is Sophie is one of the lads and he's celebrating the very minute, a very minor thing, and therefore these people, these guys are uh, what, they are not harmful to the society, and the police department has and they have instructions uh, not to arrest them, and therefore Sophie's the attempt, uh, fourth attempt, got failure. Now Sophie's fifth attempt, stealing silk umbrella. Now Sophie was really unhappy and depressed, but he never ends his attempt to achieve his dream. In a cigar store, a well-dressed man was lighting a cigar at the swinging light. Sophie saw his silk umbrella by the door on entering. Sophie grabbed the umbrella and started walking. The man followed him. See, in his fifth attempt, Sophie uh, saw that there was a man with his silk umbrella set by the door on entering. Sophie saw the umbrella and he picked up that umbrella and he began to walk. At that time, the man was lighting a cigar, and when he saw that Sophie was picking his umbrella, he followed him. See, here is the dialogue between the man and Sophie. See, the dialogue between the man and Sophie. The man, my umbrella. Sophie, oh, is it? Well, why don't you call the police? I took it, your umbrella. Why don't you call the cop? They stands on the corner. That is, Sophie was actually challenging the man to call the police. But what happens? See, the man to himself, oh shit, I think I'm caught. He he slows his steps to Sophie. Of course, well, you know how these mistakes occur. If it is your umbrella, I hope you will excuse me. I picked it up in this morning in a restaurant. If you recognize it as yours, I hope you will. So of course it's mine. See, the man also picked the umbrella. It was not his umbrella. It was others' umbrella, and therefore he could not call the police. The man retreated and the policeman hurried to assist someone. The presence of police was there in every his attempt. That is, in second attempt, that picking up the stones. The police were there, or the policeman was there. In the third attempt also, the presence of policeman was there. In the fourth attempt also, and here also, the police was there. But police could not arrest him. Let us see, let us analyze this action. Sophie takes the man's umbrella while the man was lighting a cigar at swinging light. He saw the police standing on the corner. Reaction. The man followed him, but when Sophie asked him to call the police, the man retreated. Reason. The man also picked the umbrella that morning in a restaurant, so he could not claim on the umbrella. Okay, so Sophie's this attempt also got failure. Now see, we see in the first part the presence of police, the presence of law, uh, in these attempts. Sophie could not get arrested, and here there is a twist. See, after Sophie got failure, there also he hurled the umbrella angrily and was going further. He reached one of the avenues. Avenues means that is wide road with trees or buildings on both sides. Then he dragged towards Madison Square, but on unusually quiet corner, Sophie came to stand still. There was an old church, the old-fashioned but attractive church. There Sophie was listening sweet musical tunes coming through one of the windows. The organist was making practice for Sabbath anthem. The anthem was so sweet that Sophie was cemented to iron fence. Sophie was familiar to anthem, but and therefore he began to remember his early life. See, Sophie got frustrated. That is, he thought that police could not arrest him, and his dream going to prison seemed shattered. And then he just was walking, and he came across an old church. The church was old-fashioned, but it was attractive. And the priest or the organist was practicing prayer or the anthem, Sabbath anthem. And the tunes of the anthem was so sweet for Sophie's ear that he stood there fixed. And prayer had positive energy, and therefore while listening this sweet music, Sophie began to remember. Sophie began to remember. See, one, the anthem makes Sophie to remember his early life content with mothers. That is, he had family, he had mother, roses. That is, these were very good, happy days, ambitions. He had ambitions then. He had friends. Okay, uh, immaculate, clean thoughts. He had a very a pure vision. Hmm? Collars. That is a very gentleman-like. That is, he used to meet gentleman-like people. He was not vagabond. He had no criminal background then. He began to remember all these things, all these days, his earlier life, and it was very a good life. But something happened in the life of Sophie, and he turned to be a vagabond, and he had then a criminal background. See, Sophie also began to remember. Sophie, that anthem also makes Sophie to remember his present life content with the pit into which he had tumbled. He began to remember his present days, hmm, the degraded days, unworthy desires. That is, it was unworthy desire to go to prison, dead hopes, wrecked faculties, based motives that made him made up his existence. That is, what were his motives to go to a prison in order to protect himself from the winter? Is this the desire? Is this the motive, or is was this the target for him? See, he that is the prayer made him introspective about his uh, bad days, and there was that is he was thinking and thinking, and positive energy was was coming into himself, coming into his personality. The anthem also makes Sophie to pull himself out of the mire and would man himself again, conquer the evil that had enslaved him, resurrect his old eager ambitions and pursue them without faltering. These are the impulses, a very strong impulse. And there begin a battle between his good thoughts and bad thoughts, good ambitions, his early sweet days, and his present. That is the present of criminal background. And he wanted to resurrect himself. He wanted to begin new life. He wanted to be good. See, but Sophie's dreams come true. Is it fortunate or unfortunate? When the anthem was making positive changes in Sophie, the impassive, the writer has used the word impassive, face of a policeman appeared there. He asked Sophie what he was doing there. Sophie said that he was doing nothing. But the policeman said it was an offense. What was the offense? That lingering at the church area without any reason is an offense. Sophie was taken to the police court, where the magistrate gave him 3 months on island. That is, he was sent to the prison for 3 months. So, you see, we experience that O. Henry's stories are smiles with tears. Thank you.